Welcome to 75 Stories, a podcast created to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Normandale Lutheran Church in Edina, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Brent Malcolm. My family and I have been members here for over 25 years and active on church council and as a treasurer, and now active as a staff member of the church. My role here at Normandale really fits into two categories. The first category is as business manager, which is the management and oversight of the financial and legal affairs of the church, human resources practices, and assistance with our governance committees, like council and various committees. And that, I think, fits the category of business management. The second half of my job, I would call it broadly facility management and oversight of the property, maintenance of it, planning for it, working with vendors and tenants of the building as well. Over the years, our physical property has changed quite a bit. The first and probably most visible part you can witness are all those parts of the church that are devoted to worship and music, starting with our core sanctuary and additional spaces that have been built over time to accommodate our choirs and our chapel space, for example. And it's evolved in very favorable ways over the years, all built around our cornerstone sanctuary from 1959. Second part I would cite is education focus. A lot of devotion to the faith formation, starting with children through adults. And evidence of that would be the entire south education wing of the building that started in early 1970s and has been expanded since then for our preschool and for other purposes. And then the third part that kind of permeates the whole building is a priority on being a community gathering space, to be a warm and welcoming place that accommodates the needs of our congregation, whether they be small groups or large, and many community uses. And you can see evidence of that in the remodel of our fireside room and how such a wonderful space that is, but also our outside space, and probably the latest project of the church, which is Trinity Commons, outdoors as a gathering place. Over the years, you could count up, at least 5 major expansions and remodel projects of the church itself. Each one of those, in retrospect, and were well planned from an architectural and a building perspective, and it's an extremely high quality building. But it's like a house that has 5 expansions over time. And it's a large facility. It exceeds 65,000 square feet. It's a very big building. So if you were to ask me what are the quirks and challenges of a building of this size, probably the perennial one is heating and ventilation. Again, think of it in terms of a house. There is not a single furnace and a single air conditioner. There are many for the many different parts of this church. And that is probably the greatest just regular ongoing challenge is managing the ventilation, heating, and cooling in all the parts of the building. The latest changes for the benefit of the community, you have to focus on Trinity Commons, which was literally 15 years in the making to plan for what was perceived at the time and validated over time, needs and desires of the congregation. And it came out beautifully. I don't think we could have expected it to be any better than how it has been finished and now in use. A second and the latest investment the congregation has made is in addressing sound quality in the sanctuary itself, which has been a challenge for Normandale over the years, mostly for the amplified spoken word. Our sanctuary has always been wonderful for for acoustic music and choirs, and has always been challenging for the spoken word, including from the pulpit. And I think we finally solved it with a great deal of study and implementing a sound improvement project in late 2024. In my experience, when I look back at the projects the church has undertaken, it's always been preceded by a rather lengthy discernment process about needs, concerns, alternatives, a lot of planning for the future sustenance and stability of the property, but a lengthy discernment process. When the church has committed to action, after that, things have gone very quickly. As I reflect on our facility, as I have gained perspective on it over these last few years, I have a couple of feelings. One is an overarching feeling of thanks and gratitude, realizing how much energy and planning and commitment by the congregation and generosity by the congregation has created this wonderful facility. I think about the priorities and commitments of congregation members of the past that have created the facility for today. And I only wish that more people could really get their arms around and understand the scope of that past planning and generosity that has given rise to this property for the benefit of our congregation, and not those of us that are here today, but those that will come in the future.
We are so glad you joined us today here at 75 Stories. If you'd like to share your own story, please contact Christy Shepard at kshepard@normluth.org. Join us next week for another story, and share this podcast with your friends and family. We are all part of the Normandale community.